Yeah, everything's fine. No problem. Yeah.
There we go. What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from International Racing League, Season 7, F2, Round 11 here at Suzuka, F1 2019 on the PS4 platform, and we have got what should be a very exciting race in store for today, especially after coming off of what was a hectic race last time out at Monza. I've got Eric Penton with me in the booth once again, my driver and strategic analyst for today's race.
Oh, good evening.
And Eric, we came off of a pretty crazy Monza race last week, where not only did things get shaken up at the end of the race coming across the line with in-game penalties, but the finishing order got really shook up post-race penalties, and now we've got ourselves an actual championship fight on our hands. So, as it stands, to recap last week a little bit, Canville Hoon came home with his second pole position of the season. Now, he was not the first person to cross the line. He got caught up in a altercation on track where he actually fell deep into the field. It was between him, Luis Wassman, and Ricardo, which was making his IRL debut. Unfortunately, Ricardo would come home 12th. So as they came across the line, it was T. Jonas, Ryan Hareen, Luis Wassman, Bjorn Langfeld, Jared Fosbury, Sam Thompson was the unofficial results. But post-race penalties got really shook up, and T. Jonas actually fell from first to sixth, handing the win over to Ryan Hareen. Sam Thompson actually came home second. Bjorn Langfeld was third. Jared Fosbury was fourth. Luis Wassman fifth. And T. Jonas sixth. And that has given us a championship fight because now T. Jonas only has a 6-point lead in the point standings with 147 versus Ryan Hareen at 141. Kevin Harrison not completely out of it, sitting at 123 points and mathematically still in the fight, but probably a long shot would be Canville Hoon at 101. What do you make of that craziness post-race?
Well, that was quite mind-blowing, and I have to say that the psychological advantage is, of course, with Ryan Hareen. He has nothing to lose, he has only to gain. T. Jonas has everything to lose. Kevin Harrison, he might still capitalize if Hareen and Jonas crash out, but I think Hareen is very strong now, and Jonas has to just be careful now because Hareen is on the wall.
Yeah, that was Ryan Hareen's third win of the year. So congratulations to him on that. There was a lot of controversy after the race about obviously the virtual safety car glitch that we have spoken out in the past. There was even some IRL post-race rules and infractions that were violated in reporting incidents and drivers not providing footage. And T. Jonas, unfortunately, he came out on the short end of the stick on all that. And really, it's really cost him at this point. Monza's going to be, if he loses his championship, it's going to be the one race he looks back on and goes, what could I have done differently? Especially when you come across the line first. So, I mean, how much of an impact is that? When you come across the line first, you're unofficially the winner, and then post-race penalties really knock you back that far in the running order.
I had the same situation in TUF in 2017. I got a 30-second penalty after the race, lost the win and dropped to P4. I can say it takes around 2 to 3 races until you get back the momentum, because usually when that happens, you win the race, you get P1, you think you're going to finish in P1, but then they're going to say, nope, you finished in P6, and now we're going to measure the mental head of T. Jonas. I think he might not be fully recovered after that race, and he might try to overdo in this race because he knows Ryan Hareen is faster than him, has the momentum, is catching up. He had 30 to 40 point lead, so I really think now T. Jonas just has to somehow find that mental head. So not easy, definitely not easy situation for a driver.
And speaking of which, I mean, T. Jonas has not only been the points leader for the majority of the season, and he's a very good F2 driver for sure, but he's also been doing double duty because he's been participating in the IRL Dirt Rally Championship as well. So his focus hasn't been 100% on the Formula 2 Championship, as to where Ryan Hareen is not doing any extracurricular activities when it comes to IRL. He's primarily focused on the Formula 1 game itself. So, again, another advantage for Ryan going forward?
Yeah, that's of course. If you wanna do something properly, you're gonna do it 100%. And Johnny just got too comfortable, maybe. Thought, okay, I have a 40-50 point lead. I can take a little bit easy on. I can have fun. Can focus on other stuff. And that's the biggest mistake you can ever do. Then you have a young, hungry contender who's never won a championship, who's never led the championship. He's only focusing on one thing. It's basically the same as Rocky 3, Eye of the Tiger. The first fight against Mr. T. The other one is so satisfied, he's training in a hotel, kissing babies, kissing women, and Mr. T is just training in his own ghetto and just banging the punching bags, and then second round KO. That's what's really happening right now. Basically, similar situation. Other one is satisfied, the other one is hungry, and usually the hungry one is gonna win.
We've got a lot of people in the live chat cheering on T. Jonas. I mean, a lot of people rooting him on. So let's run down the driver lineup. Looks like we're going to have ourselves a full grid for today's race. We're here at Suzuka for round 11. Going to do an 18-minute short qualifying session followed by a 50% race. And we'll kick things off here with the driver lineup. IRL Neon is Jared Fosbury, coming off of his best finish of the season last time out, where he officially gets fourth. He's going to be rocking the Ferrari. Thomas Mumford is going to be in the Toro Rosso. Epic the Animal from HTARL, that's Hit the Apex Racing League, making the step over from their assists league into the IRL F2 championship. Good to have him with us. He was third in their championship point standings. They unfortunately have suspended their assists league for the season, so he decided to make the jump to the International Racing League. And for good measure. Bigger league, more drivers, more viewers. So good on Epic. I look forward to seeing him race today. And we'll get down the rest of the running order here. And it looks like we do have a newcomer, Baboon J, making his IRL F2 debut today. We've also got Sam Thompson, Joe Hollis, Nelson Santos, Rowan Lakely, Jack Mia, Jamie Griffiths, Ken Vilhoom, Bjorn Langfell, Ryan Hareen, Ricardo making his second start for IRL F2. Luis Wassman, of course, is going to be here. Sean O'Sullivan going to be back in the car today. He's got a full-time seat moving into next season. He was a part-time driver this year, and he's one of the ones that actually got promoted after round 9 of Germany. He actually came across with his first win due to post-race penalties. So Sean O'Sullivan getting his first win this year, and he's getting a full-time seat moving into next year. Look forward to seeing him and what the progress he can make. Also got Harry Cooper will be on track today. Paco Suarez, of course, and Suarez, commentator's curse, he was going to walk away with a podium last week at Monza, blew it on the last lap at Ascari, and cost himself many positions. How do you think that's going to affect Paco moving into today's race? Is he going to be mentally distraught, or is he going to have the eye of the tiger and maybe try and make up for that lost podium?
Well, I think, no disrespect to Paco, I like him, he's a very good guy, but you've been commentating also for 2 or 3 seasons, and has Paco ever had a clean race in IRL? That's the thing that I think he's used to it, I think, and I don't know, he has only to gain, but I think it's just, is he mentally not strong enough, or what's the thing? I don't know, I don't know what to say, maybe another DNF, maybe, I don't know.
Paco is a unique character. This is the 3rd season for the F2 series. And in his first season of F2, he was actually a contender, was running towards the front a lot. And I don't know if the handling model between, 17, 18, and 19 has just been too difficult for him to grasp. But unfortunately, it seems like every season that has progressed, he's unfortunately fallen further and further in the point standings. And I like Paco as well. No disrespect to him. He's a fun guy to have an interview with. He's a great guy to talk to.
Exactly.
And but he just a string of bad luck, or he's just having a hard time getting a grasp on the game. So we're currently watching. Go ahead.
Yeah, about Paco still. I remember that race in Germany. He had everything under control. If he can have more races like Germany last season, finishing in P2, crossing the line in P1, then we can see a very strong Paco. But the inconsistency is the key thing he's having. But yeah, continue. Just wanted to add that to the final report.
Well, we're currently watching Thomas Mumford in the Toro Rosso. He's the first driver that's going to start a hot lap. And going into the qualifying session and the race today, optimum tire strategy for these guys. What are we talking?
Soft and medium. definitely. You do 10 laps with soft, and then you do 17 laps with the medium tires. Just like yesterday in Division 1.
So soft to mediums and F2 pole time, what are we looking at here?
127.6 to 127.5, I believe.
We will see how good the ever-clever Eric Penton is on calling that. He's been pretty consistent the last couple weeks with his pole times. And speaking of which, Can Vilhoen coming off of his second pole position of the season last time out at Monza. Who are we thinking is going to take pole? I mean, could it be a three-car battle for pole position between him, Ryan, and T. Jonas?
I still say it's going to be Ryan who wins. He's been so fast this season. I think the Dutch driver in Williams' car is going to take the pole position today by around 3/10.
Interesting prediction. I like it. And Mumford coming through the last chicane, and IRL officials put out a statement before the race. Apparently there's a glitch here at Suzuka where you can cut that chicane and not pick up a time penalty, so they have put out a statement saying that if you are caught cutting that chicane and gaining time, you will serve a post-race penalty. And Mumford's the first one to set a time at a 129.428, quickly overshadowed by the 129.271 of Sam Thompson. Ken Vilhoen with a 128.468, and Bjorn Langfell 128.336. We see Jamie Griffiths has also set a time of 130. Rowan Lakely just came across the line, and he sets a 128.468. And now Ryan Hareen 127.995, going straight to the top of the charts on his first flyer. Pick up T. Jonas and see where he's at. Looks like he's coming out of the 130R down to the last chicane.
He's about to start his lap. Oh, going to the pits.
Going to dive into the pits. We'll pick up Kevin Harrison as he comes out of the 130R. And he's down into the chicane. And Harrison 132.30. And let's talk about Kevin Harrison a little bit. He came across the line at Monza in second position, had 11 seconds worth of in-game penalties, dropped him all the way to 7th. Unfortunately, he didn't garner any spots in the post-race penalties. He still sits third in points at 123, still mathematically in it, but do you think he's going to be a contender for this championship in these last two rounds?
We have to see some kind of miracles. It's mathematically possible, of course. It's not over until the fat lady sings, but it has to mean that Jonas and Ryan Hareen have to cross out with each other, make some kind of mistakes or other factors, in-game penalties. So if Kevin doesn't get chance from outside, I think he'll be out of the championship fight after this round. Which is a shame because he's a defending champion and this season hasn't been so great. So I think normal circumstances, he's out of the championship after this round.
And it really is a shame. Kevin Harrison, as you said, he's the defending F2 champion. He has not seemed like himself from last season. And Luis Wassman's retired from the session. I think that's because Luis Wassman actually has a qualifying ban. Him and Ricardo both have quali bans from incidents at Monza. So, but back to Harrison real quick. I mean, last year, he was teammates with Jack Yates. Alfa Romeo was a super strong team. And unfortunately, he thought he could benefit from a wet weather race because he proved last year that he was a rainmeister. He had great wet weather strategy. We had a wet weather race at Germany, I believe it was, and he wasn't able to capitalize on the wet weather like he thought he would.
Yeah. I'm not actually at the Kevin Harrison situation. Maybe it's the champions pressure. We have Jared Forsberg who won Season 5 championship. Season 6 he finished in 6th place in the championship. Now Kevin Harrison won the last season, so maybe the pressure going on the next season is higher because now everybody's targeting you. Everybody knows that you're the man to beat for the title. Everybody knows you're the quickest, you're the best driver last season, so the training for the other drivers is going to be different. And you being a champion, you think you can... Yeah, it's different because you have different pressure. When you're not a champion, you don't have anything to gain and you have nothing to lose, so I think that's the thing. And that's how we go to the mental situation.
And speaking of Jared Fosbury, we're riding along with him in the Ferrari, and as you said, he is the Season 5 F2 champion. But again, he has struggled this year. He comes across the line and 129.902, so he's the first driver on the timing charts to crack into the 129s, but he's all the way down in 12th, so he's actually the slowest driver in the 129s. The guys, Jamie Griffiths, Kevin Harrison, and Jack Mia still running in the 130s, but Jared Fosbury had a great Season 5 campaign where he won the F2 championship. Again, he struggled a little bit last year defending that title against Kevin Harrison, but was still a contender. This year, he started off with a string of bad luck, decided to take a step back, go part-time as a reserve, and he has also moved on from being a pad driver or a controller driver. Oh, and he loses the back end coming out of the second, I forget what they're called.
It's corner, I believe it's corner 10, corner 9, corner 10 combination.
But he has switched from a pad driver to the wheel, and he's been working on the wheel for the last number of weeks. So we're going to pick up T. Jonas, and it looks like T. Jonas has got wing damage, so he's had an off, and he has not yet set a time. Yeah. So he's going to have to dive back into the pits again. Rowan Lakely has just retired from the session. He is fifth quickest at a 128.468. And T. Jonas is trying to stay out of the way of oncoming cars as he heads down the backstretch. So less than 9 minutes to play. T. Jonas has not set a time. We're still waiting on him to set a time. Nelson Santos and Epic the Animal. And I'm looking forward to watching this guy. He's been a lot of fun to watch and hit the Apex Racing League. Their assists league, or Tier 2, has basically shut down for the season with a couple of races remaining, so he's jumped ship to come to IRL, and I commentate for HTA as well. I'm really looking forward to watching this guy. He was third in the championship points. He was a little bit of a dark horse in their championship battle, and he's definitely got some speed. So, and we actually watched him in IRS a couple weeks ago during one of the preseason tests. Had a great run at Bahrain, so kind of glad he's made it here in the IRL, a little bit more of a mainstream league, a lot more viewers, a lot more organization than HTA and IRS for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And bigger community, and I believe IRL is now third biggest league in PS4, just behind PSGL and OneHub. So the admins are doing a great job, and the level is getting better and better, more difficult and difficult each season. So great to see the increase of IRL.
And we see Epic come through the 130R and down through the last chicane. Let's see what kind of time he can get. Oh, he's going to dive into the pits.
Yeah.
A little surprised.
Yeah, he invalidated his lap. Track map is showing red, so that is lap over. But about T. Jonas, is still 7 minutes remaining. He doesn't have a lap time. And
oh, and look at Kevin Harrison. Harrison's just gone to the top of the charts.
Whoa.
A 127.837. He just said, hey, guys, I'm still a part of this fight. And lays down a hot lap for sure. And I want to give a shout-out to Baboon J, making his IRL F2 debut. Third quickest so far with a 128.323. But Kevin Harrison and Ryan Hareen, the only two drivers to break into the 127 so far.
Well, I guess two champions rise from the ashes in the critical times, and Kevin is showing his mental head now. He's showing that he is not ready to give up on the title. He's ready to defend his Season 6 title, and he's about to make this championship fight even more interesting. I like to see that from him. That's great.
And we're currently watching Ryan Hareen. He's on an invalidated lap time right now. Going to stick with him as he heads through Spoon and see what kind of time he can set. Baboon J, speaking of which, third quickest, he's on an out lap, so he's going to be right behind Ryan Hareen as far as setting a hot lap. So, and Sean O'Sullivan is down in the 9th spot. We'll pick him up real quick. It looks like he's going to dive into the pits. I'm awfully good at getting footage of people diving into the pits.
It's good talent, though. It's
Ryan Hareen has dived into the pits, so we're going to pick up Baboon J as he comes out of the last chicane, and he's out onto the front stretch. We're right along with Jay here, and down at this very tricky track. Difficult turn one.
Oh man, it's one of the hardest tracks you can do. It doesn't matter. It's like so slippery. You don't have any traction. You feel like you don't have any grip or any rear wing traction or anything. It's just you have to find some kind of momentum, but it's very hard to track it indeed. And very easy to crash out.
Yeah, turn one's very hard. What's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like an optical illusion. You can take it faster than you think, but you can't take it as fast as you think.
And it's very funny that if you go a little bit wide in either one of the turns, you're gonna mess your whole lap up, because that sector 1 means so much in Japan. It's in other tracks, sector 1 doesn't mean anything, but in Japan it's like a lifetime. It's like
and we're watching Jay head through Spoon, which is, in my opinion, by far the most difficult corner on the track by far.
Yeah. And he has invalidated his lap. I just watched.
That's too bad for Jay. We'll pick up Thomas Mumford. Mumford letting the Ferrari of Jared Fosbury go by. Fosbury all the way down into 15th now. And Rowan Lakely, he retired early on in the session. He was 3rd or 5th quickest, I think, when he retired. He's now dropped all the way to 9th, so that's unfortunate for Rowan. Still waiting on T. Jonas and Epic the Animal to set lap times, and it looks like at this point, and I think we've talked about this before, Epic has made a habit of saving his hot lap for the last couple minutes of the session. He pretty much leaves himself enough time to make the out lap and make the timed lap and call it a day. And it looks like at this point, T. Jonas might be doing the same thing. Only a couple minutes left to play in the session, and he hasn't set a time. He doesn't have a qualifying ban that I'm aware of, so I could be wrong on that. Jared or somebody, or Brandon, I know Brandon's in the live chat as well. He might be able to verify that for me, but I don't know that he's got a qualifying ban.
I think if you have qualifying ban, you have to retire the car immediately. You take the setup, you retire the car, and that's it.
Which is what Luis Wassman and Ricardo did. Yellow flag sector 1, watching Jared Fosbury. 3 minutes left to play in the session. And still got a lot of people chiming in and rooting for T. Jonas. He's got a lot of fans in the stands, so good on him.
Yeah, a lot of Scandinavians, a lot of Norwegian people rooting for him. That's great to see.
And Harry Cooper has gone 3rd quickest. He was a hot topic back at Hockenheim, where he left the session and rejoined. Now, per IRL rules, for those fans that aren't familiar, if you leave the session in the middle of a race, you are not allowed to rejoin because it does create a corner-cutting glitch. And Harry Cooper basically returned to the session, actually won the race, but was disqualified afterwards because he did not retire the car. So unfortunately for him. Looks like we've got nobody on a timed lap. Maybe Can Vilhoen. Looks like Vilhoen just dived into turn 1. Let me get some lap data up here.
Nobody's currently in a lap. Can Vilhoen has messed up his lap, so he's just lifting off and trying another one. There's 1 minute 53 seconds remaining, and actually we have Sam Thompson in P6 who is in his flying lap in his beautiful Renault car, that black and yellow Renault livery. But I do miss the old Benetton livery of blue and yellow. That was very sexy livery indeed.
And Thompson had the back end kick out on him as he came out of that corner there, coming through the hairpin now. So Sam Thompson found himself with a podium finish last time out because of a post-race penalty, so good on him. Jamie Griffiths has retired from the session, so his time's going to be locked in at a 1:28.669. That's good enough for 11th quickest so far. I got a feeling he's probably going to drop through the field a little bit. And you see a lot of traffic here for Sam
look at what
Thompson.
Paco's doing. Paco is giving slipstream for his teammate. That's very well done for the two Renault drivers.
Let's see if Sam Thompson can capitalize on that. They're through the 130R, down to the heavy braking zone of the chicane here. And Jack Mia has retired from the session, so his time's going to be locked in at a 1:29.854. He's the last driver to set a time, and it looks like Sam Thompson was not able to improve his time. T. Jonas is currently on an outlap. Time is going to be up here in the next few seconds. We've got Ryan Hareen getting ready to come across the line and start a final hot lap. And I think just 1:27.811. He goes to the top of the charts. Kevin Harrison's on his out lap now. He's starting his timed lap now. And where is T. Jonas in all this? As Kevin Harrison dives into turn 1. And it looks like T. Jonas is just ahead of him, heading through the S's. So this is going to be an intense last few seconds here. Can Vilhoun is retired from the session. Can Vilhoun's going to be locked in at a 1:28.465. That's good enough for 9th so far. A little bit of a wiggle out of T. Jonas's car, heading into the hairpin now.
Yeah, a really unstable lap from T. Jonas. He's definitely trying too hard in his lap. He's trying to push too much from the car, and every corner is losing his rear, and I think that's going to be a good lap.
Oh, yeah. It looks like he's blown the corner there.
Yeah. It's his qualifying over, and it's going to be, I don't know, last place or maybe P14. We'll see.
Joe Hollis is retired from the session. He's gone 4th quickest. Now, he didn't invalidate his lap time, so he's still on it as he heads through the 130R. Flat out to that sweeping left-hander, hard into the braking zone. Here comes T. Jonas. And only good enough for 12th. We're going to pick up Kevin Harrison. Has he got anything left in the tank for Ryan Hareen? And he goes to the top of the charts, 1:27.628 for Kevin Harrison. Good on him. Where's Harry Cooper? Harry Cooper coming through the 130R down to the chicane. Paco Suarez goes 3rd quickest. Good on Paco. Here comes Harry Cooper. Cooper not able to improve his position, it looks like. He's going to come across 4th, so congratulations to Kevin Harrison, trying to keep this championship fight alive, starting out in front. So here is your starting order. Kevin Harrison, Ryan Hareen, Paco Suarez, Harry Cooper, Joe Hollis, Epic the Animal to 6th, Baboon J is 7th, Bjorn Langfeld 8th, Sam Thompson 9th, Sean O'Sullivan is 10th, Can Vilhoun 11th, Rowan Lakely 12th, T. Jonas all the way down to 13th, Jamie Griffiths is 14th, Thomas Mumford is 15th, Jared Fosbury only 16th, Nelson Santos is 17th, Jack Mia 18th, Luis Wassman is 19th. He did not set a time because of a qualifying ban. And 20th is going to be Ricardo, also with a qualifying ban. Man, what do you make of that for Kevin Harrison?
Kevin Harrison showing he has that eye of the tiger, like we talked about. Like, he is showing that he is ready to renew his title fight, and I like that. Two champions always come out on top in high-stake situations, and he is shown today that he is ready to renew his title and take the fight to Brazil in the last Grand Prix, and that's awesome to see.
Which is really an interesting thing, because I think I remember talking to Kevin last week, and there was some discussion that Brazil is not one of his better tracks. He's not a big fan of Suzuka either, but it looks like he's trying to maybe capitalize on this. Maybe Suzuka's a little bit better of a track for him than Brazil, so... And it looks like Jack Mia left the session, so Jack Mia not going to be able to participate in this race, it looks like. It looks like he might have done that before the grid was set, so it looks like we might only have 19 cars. So let's run down the formation lap. Kevin Harrison with the pole position, looking to capitalize on that, see if he can walk away with a win today and close in on that points gap to this man right here, Ryan Hareen. Ryan Hareen only 6 points out of first place in the championship point standings, looking to see if he can capitalize on his starting position. And Paco Suarez had a podium in sight, going through Ascari at Monza, lost out on it. We'll see if he can capitalize on that today. And it looks like we just lost Jared Fosbury. That's disappointing.
We'll the lobby host has left. It might glitch the lobby. I think there might be a restart, because if host leaves, it usually glitches the lobby somehow, and...
That's true, we might get a migrating host. Harry Cooper starting in the 4th spot, see if he can work his way into a podium position, looking to make up for that lost win that he had back in Germany. Joe Hollis was actually... He's had a win this year, if I remember correctly, so good on him, starting in the 5th spot. Epic the Animal, we talked a little bit about him coming over from HTARL, starting in the 6th spot. I look forward to him working his way through the field. Baboon J making his IRL F2 debut, starting in the 7th spot, see if he can put some points on the board in the McLaren today. And Bjorn Langfell coming off of another podium finish last week due to post-race penalties. We'll see if he can do it again today. Sam Thompson starting at 9th. He had a podium because of post-race penalties, coming off of a 2nd-place finish. See if he can work his way through the field. And Sean O'Sullivan had
I have to interrupt you. I have to interrupt. Restart. We're restarting the lobby. We just got a message from Chad Fosper in the live stream chat. The lobby is... the race is going to be restarted. New lobby.
All right, so broken lobby, unfortunately. So it looks like we've got drivers diving out left and right. I'll continue to run down the running order. Sean O'Sullivan's got 1 win to his credit this year. Canville Hoon will be starting in the 11th spot. He unfortunately had Monza locked up last week before he ran into issues on track with his teammate, and I think it was Ricardo. They made contact. There was a 3-car clash on track, so unfortunately that cost him. And looks like we'll go ahead and leave this session. Unfortunately, that's Codemasters for you.
Yeah. And if Codemasters are watching, yeah, no disrespect. Just fix your service.
Jamie Griffiths brings up a good point. This has probably been the 2nd or 3rd race in a row where we've had to do a restart because of a glitch in the lobby. And again, I don't know if it starts with just the game or if it's somebody's bad internet connection and it snowballs from there, but... unfortunately, we'll be doing another restart. So while we wait for the invites, I'm really excited for this race. It's good to see Kevin Harrison back up in front. T. Jonas, man, though, should T. Jonas run an alternate tire strategy, or should he just do the softs to the mediums and try and keep pace with the other 11 cars in front of him?
Well, I don't think there's point to go to softs because in Japan it's very difficult to overtake. So in my opinion, he has to take the mediums, make a first long one, then try to make overcut on the slower drivers and take the highest possible position he can finish in the race, because in Japan it's very difficult to overtake another driver. You only have like 1 or 2 spots to overtake, and they're also a big risk. So...
yeah, Suzuka, I mean, we talked a little bit about how much of a tricky track it is, but the thing that's always caught me as weird about Suzuka is that it is seemingly a fairly wide track, but it has such a narrow racing groove that it is really difficult to pass.
Yeah, you basically have to hope for driver ahead to make some kind of mistake, and after that you can maybe overtake in a finished straight line. Or then you can maybe dive up the inside of corner 10 hairpin. But yeah, only 1 or 2 overtaking spots, which... it's an old school track, so yeah.
It is an old school track. It's good to see that IRL is finishing out the season at Suzuka and Brazil. 2 proper F1 tracks, in my opinion. But Brazil's kind of a similar thing. I mean, it's a wide track, but a very narrow racing line. And obviously, Sector 2 at Brazil is really where all of your time is either made or lost. It's a very short track as well.
Yeah, but we've seen great racing in Brazil in the last years in real life and in the game. It's always provided us good season finales. In real life, we have to say Brazil 2012, last year's real life Grand Prix 2019, so Brazil definitely belongs to Formula 1, and I think even though it's narrow, it's easier to overtake, and we see a lot more bang-bang racing than in most of the tracks, so I think Brazil is one of the best tracks there is in Formula 1 games.
Yeah, it is a shame that it is not on the official F1 calendar, and obviously with everything going on in the world right now, F1 is not much happening there. FIA and F1 is in a critical state itself. Obviously, we've heard the news this week of Williams possibly being sold, which is really, really absolutely... if there's ever been a wake-up call for Formula 1 to try and fix things, this is it. Williams is one of the most prominent teams ever in F1. I mean, multiple championships, amazing drivers that come out of that camp, and obviously they've struggled the last few years, actually the last probably decade and a half, but I mean, if there's ever been a wake-up call for FIA to try and fix things, to put things on a more level playing field. This is it. The Formula One without Williams, to me, is not Formula One.
Yeah, it's not Formula One though. It's like same with Ferrari, because Williams have been there since the 70s. We had great drivers like Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell. We had Nelson Piquet driving for the team, and Jacques Villeneuve, Damon Hill. So it's really shame that they've allowed this situation that Williams is like the new Caterham or new HRT of Formula One, which actually should never happen. And it's good they level the play field. Less money for everybody, less wind tunnel testing, and yeah, equal terms for everybody. But it's a shame. If Williams leaves, it's definitely massive hole in Formula One.
Looks like we finally just got the invite for the new lobby.
Yeah.
And Jamie Griffiths on the live chat saying that Suzuka is horrible in this game. It says it's a lot like Spain, and Spain is Spain's an interesting track. I think if I had to say anything about Spain, it seems like it's a combination of Suzuka and Brazil. It's not quite as long as Suzuka, not quite as short as Brazil, but seems to be very much a one groove track. Doesn't make for a whole lot of opportunities to pass. However, I will say from an online standpoint, I've called a couple of really good races there at Catalunya.
Yeah. But by the way, Lance, are you racing today? Spectator mode.
Of course I'm racing today. No, I'm not racing.
You're racing what car?
I'm racing the ghost car.
The ghost car, right. But yeah, Spain, it's I don't know, in real life it's just it's like a Mickey Mouse track. Doesn't belong to Formula One, but in online mode it's not good racing though.
Yeah, I feel like Formula One's in dire straits right now, trying to really re-identify itself as the pinnacle of motor racing, and it's just, I don't know.
I remember we talked privately. We cannot talk because we talked privately with you that it's not about how fast the cars are. We want to see close racing. Like, we don't want to see, like you said this, we don't want to see lap records broken every single race if the racing is boring. You would rather have 5 to 6 seconds slower cars and have close racing than every single race we have new lap records, new track records, or stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, when we were living in the age of innovation and race cars were dramatically different from year to year, that was an exciting time to watch lap records fall and crack the 200-mile barrier and stuff like that. But we're so far beyond that at this point where we just want to see good racing, side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel action. And I think that's the benefit that online racing brings to a sport like Formula One, especially in IRL, because IRL runs obviously 3 different tiers. They have F1, F2, F3. They keep the competition relatively close as far as the drivers go, their timing and whatnot per the tracks. And if FIA could do what IRL does, that would be amazing.
Well, we have to then get IRL owners, Sondway and other guys to FIA then. We'd have a better racing, But yeah, in Formula 1 we should make the car smaller, take aerodynamic speed, the grip away, and then we would have great racing. Because okay, Formula 1 needs to be safe, I understand that, because we don't want to see fatalities happening in a Grand Prix, but the cars can be safe, but they don't need to be so big that the one car is going to take the space of the whole track. They can be small and safe also. So I think, make the cars slower and make them smaller. We'll have great racing.
I mean, they're ridiculously wide now, aren't they? I mean, they're...
Yeah, like races in Singapore and Monaco don't mean anything anymore. Like,
they're
Monaco,
like 2 meters wide or something ridiculous like that.
Yes. Yeah. Jesus, it's only few tracks where you see good side-by-side racing, but then, of course, DRS plays a huge role. Of course, I like the DOS, but of course the DOS's effect should be a little bit smaller, that you don't make the overtake happen in the start of the straight line. It should be like, but it's of course very difficult to judge, calculate. Well, yeah.
And Baboon J on the live chat saying that he loves Suzuka, which I'll be honest, I'm a big fan of Suzuka in real life. I'm a big fan of Suzuka on track when I do race. One of my best Gran Turismo races ever was at Suzuka. It's a track that I'm relatively good at, so I could get behind Baboon J on that one. And he proved it too, qualifying in the top 10 and here at his IRL debut for the F2 tier. So now that we've got things situated, obviously we're going to do, we've already done the 18-minute short qualifying session, so we're going to do custom grid, put the drivers back in their qualifying positions, and we're going to go ahead and kick this off with a 50% race. And hopefully there shouldn't be any more lobby glitches. It seems to be between the qualifying and the race start is when the lobbies seem to glitch the most. So we just need to hope that all the drivers abide by the gentleman's rule, start on the tires that they're supposed to start on, that they had qualified under during the qualifying session. So looks like we might have all 20 drivers back with us.
Yeah, and of course, if you start with a new tire, what you didn't have in previous lobby, you're going to get disqualified.
And we'll do the formation lap, let everybody put some heat into their brakes and into their tires. We'll run down the driver lineup and the starting lineup one more time for you guys, everybody that is still stuck with us. And certainly appreciate everybody tuning in, and good to have everyone here. And obviously there's always a lot of views after the actual live stream, but it's always nice to have actual people tuning in live. So here we go. We're going to do the formation lap. So Kevin Harrison to the top of the charts at the end of qualifying, starting on pole position, trying to keep his championship hopes alive. He's currently third in the championship points. He's trying to fend off this man right here in the Williams, Ryan Hareen, who is going to be starting in second. But Ryan Hareen is going to want to try and capitalize on the poor starting position of his championship rival, T. Jonas, as he starts all the way down in 12th. Paco Suarez had a podium in sight at Monza before he crashed out on the last lap. He'll be starting in the third spot and see if he can capitalize on that today. And Harry Cooper, who was very fast back in Germany but disqualified, you see if he can work his way to a podium. And Joe Hollis, coming off of a great wet weather race at Hockenheim as well, where he took pole position. That was round 8, so see if he can work his way through the field. And Epic the Animal, coming over from Hit the Apex Racing League to join IRL. Good to have him on track. He's got a little bit of speed in that car, qualified 6th. See if he can move it through the field. And Baboon J just told us that he loves Suzuka, and he showed it by qualifying 7th in his IRL F2 debut. We'll see if he can work his way through the field and put some points on the board. Bjorn Langfeld coming off of another podium position. He's been finding himself there pretty regularly here lately. See if he can do it again as he works his way through the field from 8th, along with Sam Thompson coming off of a podium position last time out as well. Sean O'Sullivan has made his F2 debut this year. Actually, not this year, but he's got his full-time ride this year and has already got a win under his belt. We'll see if he can work his way through the field. Ken Vilhoen, who had the win locked down moving into the last closing moments of the race last week, but unfortunately was caught in a 3-car clash between him, Ricardo, and his teammate. Unfortunately for him, he did not score any points, and today he is starting all the way back in the 11th spot. Rowan Lakely is going to be starting in 12th. The talk of the day is this guy right here in the Mercedes. That is T. Jonas, your championship points leader, starting all the way down in the 13th spot. He's going to be deep in the field. He's got his work cut out for him. Jamie Griffith's going to be starting in the 14th position, see if he can work his way through the field, put some points on the board. He's got Thomas Mumford starting behind him in the Toro Rosso in 15th, and Jared Fosbury starting all the way down in 16th, coming off of his best finish of the season last time out where he came home 4th. See if he can do it again with some bit of luck. Nelson Santos is all the way back at 17th. Jack Mia is 18th. And unfortunately, Luis Wassman and Ricardo had qualifying bans that did not get to set times. So they'll be starting in 19th and 20th, heading into the start of this race. That is your starting lineup as we wait for the 5 red lights. Any predictions before the lights go out?
Well, I think that Harry Cooper and Suarez might win this race. I think P1 and P2 will crash out now in the first corner.
Lights out. Time to run what you brung their way in a puff of smoke, and it's a good start by Kevin Harrison. And Paco Suarez trying to get to the outside of Ryan Hareen, but Ryan Hareen's going to close the door on him. And it's a swarm of angry bees going down into turn one. They've got cars all over the place. And now they head into the very, very tricky S's. Harrison out in front of Ryan Hareen and Paco Suarez, and it looks like these three cars are starting to pull away from the pack. Harry Cooper's got Joe Hollis breathing down his neck. Baboon J has worked his way up into 6th already. He's moved up a spot under the start, and he's all over the back of Joe Hollis's Haas.
Yeah, and in the front, Kevin Harrison has 7/10 lead.
Oh, and to the inside, Baboon J tries to get underneath. And I think Baboon J just got a 2-for-1 deal, but he's going to lose out on one of them spots. He's side by side with Hollis as they head down into Spoon, a very tricky corner. And he's going to slam the door, cuts across the nose, and that was a good old-fashioned NASCAR slide job right there. Great move by Baboon J to work his way into 4th.
Showing that he doesn't respect it, so he's racing for his own. He is not, backing up for anybody, and I like that. He is aggressive. I like that style.
And here comes Hollis. They're side by side heading down to the chicane as they come out of the 130R. He's still able to retain that spot. Oh, Harry Cooper has an incident. Harry Cooper lost the car over that tricky bump at the end of this, the chicane coming down the hill. He's got end plate damage on the right front. He's going to lose a couple of spots heading into the corner.
Yeah, and I think his tires overheated. He has to survive this first stint, and he has to hope for a safety car. He's going to be the slowest driver on the track right now because his tires are overheated.
And it looks like we've got a bit of a glitch on timing and scoring because it says Paco Suarez is 1/10 behind Ryan Hareen, but that is not the case.
Yellow sector 1.
Oh, Luis Wasserman is retired.
Oh, look at the crash! Look at the crash! Look at expected Jamie. Look at 3-car crash, 4-car crash, end plates everywhere, carnage, just like World War II.
We've got ourselves a safety car. I've picked up Sam Thompson to see if we can see where this happened.
But I saw it. Jesus Christ, there was a lot of carnage in the track. Felt like it was a used car garage where people left those city cars in which nobody wants to drive. It's like so much carnage.
It looks like that was at the top of the S's. So Luis Wasserman out of this session altogether. Safety car is out. And Nelson Santos is on hard tires. That's an odd strategy to be running.
Yeah, in Japan, hard tires, not not the suitable tires, only mediums and softs. But now, who will take the gamble? Who will take the hard tires and go to the end? Is anybody going to make
car
that
here
race?
on lap 2. Oh, Kevin Harrison dives in. Ryan Hareen stays out.
Are they gonna try one stop with the hard tires? That's what a few people yesterday tried in Division 1. It really didn't work. It really didn't work, but let's see. Yeah, hard tires.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think if I was Harrison, I probably would have stayed out.
And now, Ryan Hareen is going to lead the race, and Langfeld is going to be 3rd, and Johnny is fitted also. So we have around 6 to 7 drivers with hard tires. So we have 7 drivers who are trying the one stop with the hard tires. 25 laps with the hards. Or then they're calculating that the new safety car will come at some point of the race, and then they're going to pit again.
I don't know. I think Ryan Hareen is the one. He's going to be out front. His tires aren't overheated. He can conserve them a little bit under the safety car. He's going to have clean air, and he is going to be able to pull away and gap this field. There's no doubt in my mind. T. Jonas all the way down into 15th. Kevin Harrison's still running in the top 10. He's running in 7th, but he switched over to those hard tires. I just don't think that was the right move. I think you should have stuck with the strategy. I think you should have run your softs to mediums. I don't know.
Yeah, there's an old saying that the leader should never pit first. You need to let the others, pit before you. You just don't give away your lead. But hey, it makes this race more interesting. It's good for the viewers, but bad for Kevin.
And speaking of viewers, we got Fun Oreo joining us on the live chat. That's Anthony Johnson. Always good to have him with us. get another driver's perspective, always keeping in tune with what's going on around the leagues. So, unfortunate series of events for Luis Wassman. He had a relatively good race going. I mean, he got caught up in that 3-car pileup last race as well. Came home 8th, was still able to put some points on the board, but he did show some speed at Monza. Actually, I'm sorry, he came home 5th last race. So
yeah. And Zach Myers pitting. That's going to promote Kevin Harrison one more position to P6. And Zach Myers changing his front wing and taking the mediums.
So let's get some. There we go. We get the tire information up there for everybody, so we can try and keep in tune with the tire strategy. A lot of takers for hard tires. I'm really surprised. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drivers switching over to hards. They're going to try and run them all the way to the end of this race.
Well, like we said, it's very difficult to overtake in Suzuka. You have the tire advantage. You don't have to do any more stops. So, yeah, I can see why they pitted, but those hards are very, very hard to manage in Japan. But I respect that. You have to take risks. If you don't take risks, you can never achieve anything. Like Michael Jordan used to say, you miss every single shot you don't take. So,
it's a good point.
And actually, Kevin Harrison in P6. P6 after pit stop.
And he's actually the first car who had switched over to the hards. Everybody else looks like they're on their original strategy. Obviously, Ryan Hareen, Joe Hollis, Bjorn Langfeld, Sean O'Sullivan, Cam Vilhoun, none of those guys pitted. So they're all sticking with their original strategies. And I would think the safety car would be in this lap. So we talked a lot last week about the safety car glitch, and we do get from race control that the safety car is going in this lap. So we'll keep an eye here on Ryan Hareen. Not saying that Ryan has violated the safety car glitch. We've got a collision with Jamie Griffiths and Jack Mia, looks like.
Yeah. I just saw Williams flying in the track.
Oh, and Jack Mia is retired from the session.
And Paco Suarez in the wall. Expected Paco Suarez. He's inside the wall.
Oh, where is
inside
Suarez?
The wall in my screen. He is inside the wall in my screen.
He is. Suarez is now listed as the leader because of a glitch. He's obviously last.
No, in my screen, he's stuck in the wall. He is stuck in the wall in my screen.
He's out on the front stretch there. Okay, so timing and scoring has now classified him 17th. Looks like Harry Cooper's dived into the pits. And Ryan Hareen is off to the races. Joe Hollis in pursuit. Followed by Bjorn Langfeld. Finds himself in another third-place position again.
This might be another podium for the Mercedes driver. And he's been driving very well now for the last 3 races. So, keeping the Mercedes flag up.
Well, Mercedes pretty much has the Constructors' Championship on lockdown between him and T. Jonas. Not much of a Constructors' Championship. We do see this. He's going to the outside. He's going to have the inside line heading into Spoon. It's going to be very close. Oh, my goodness. And Hollis tries to pinch him. That was some good defensive driving, but I think Langfeld's going to get a good run coming out of the corner there and down the backstretch into the 130R.
Is he going to try to go side by side? Nah, he's not trying.
Oh, he's very close.
My God. Mothers, lock up your daughters. This is incredible racing.
Oh, and he's got the spot coming through the chicane. Great move by Bjorn Langfeld. Puts him into the second spot. And Joe Hollis is probably shaking his head going, how in the heck did that happen?
Big balls, my friend, big balls. That's what
Meanwhile,
happens.
while they battled it out, Ryan Hareen has pulled out about a half-second gap over that battle.
Like I said, clean track ahead. He can dictate
Actually,
the
no,
pace.
it is because Paco Suarez's timing and scoring is all screwed up. So it's a 1.5-second gap. And Rowan Lakely's retired from the session. Virtual safety car is out.
It's very funny. In my screen, Paco Suarez is inside the wall of F1 2019. He has the whole car inside his wall, and yeah. But in your screen, he's leading. So.
Well, he's leading until when Ryan Hareen comes across the line, it drops Ryan to second. When Paco crosses the line, it puts Paco back in his normal spot, which is currently 16th position, ahead of Rowan Lakely, who just crashed out. So.
Yeah, I believe. Well, we might have some controversies after this Grand Prix, and it's not over yet. I think we're going to see a few more safety cars in this track today.
And the virtual safety car looks like it is gone. So back to green flag racing. Ryan Hareen out in front to the tune of 1.5 seconds. Looks like Bjorn Langfell is now up into second over Joe Hollis. We saw that happen. Sean O'Sullivan running in fourth. And then you've got this gaggle of cars. You've got O'Sullivan, followed by Ken Vilhoen, followed by Kevin Harrison, followed by Ricardo. And it looks like, what has happened to Babu J? Okay, and see, and now it says Paco Suarez is leading the race again. So the timing and scoring is a little jacked up. We'll try and keep with what's going on the track. So we're going to ignore Paco Suarez pretty much for the most part, because he is actually running in like the 16th or 17th position at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what this driver's just saying. If Paco Suarez is glitching in front of them, he should probably just retire his car, but we don't know what these drivers see. So you see that he's leading, I see that he's in the wall, but yeah, he should just retire then if he's causing any glitches in the lobby.
So watching Sean O'Sullivan trying to close in the gap to this battle for the second spot. He's closing in on Joe Hollis and the McLaren. Now, because we've had the virtual safety car and a safety car, when would the guys on softs be looking to pit?
I believe they can pit to lap 12, lap 11. They have had time to cool down their tires, so I believe 4 more laps, and first soft runners are going to do their pit stops.
Ooh, and Hollis runs a little wide coming out of there. O'Sullivan able to close the gap a little bit, and then Canville Hoon really able to close up under braking heading into the chicane. Looks like he might have cut that corner just a little tight. Ryan Hareen just ran the fastest lap of this race, 132.133. The DRS is now enabled, and look at this, O'Sullivan making the move down into turn 1.
Easy as you like it.
And O'Sullivan takes over what is going to be the third spot.
Kevin Harrison is closing down.
Meanwhile, Joe Hollis has now got Canville Hoon breathing down his neck, and as you said, Kevin Harrison is now becoming a part of this fight, running that alternate tire strategy on the hards. He's going to try and run them all the way to the end. So we've got a 4-car battle. We've got Sean O'Sullivan trying to hold off Joe Hollis, Hollis trying to hold off Canville Hoon trying to hold off Kevin Harrison, and Harrison trying to keep his championship hopes alive. Meanwhile, your championship points leader, T. Jonas, is stuck all the way down in 14th because of poor qualifying, and he has not been able to make much headway. He took those hard tires on the on the safety car, and we've got a car off on Sector 2. That was a quick on-off. Looks like that might have been Baboon J. Looks like he's lost a ton of time. He's down here with Thomas Mumford, gives him Mumford a little bit of a bunt. T. Jonas is part of this now. Your points leader getting stuck back in this battle for what is the 13th spot. He goes to the inside. See Jonas, see if he makes a move at the chicane. He's watching Baboon J trying to make a move there. He's trying to go around. Oh, but Jonas gets a good run coming out of the corner, and Jonas picks up the spot. So Baboon J loses out on that battle.
Yeah, rookie mistake. He was too aggressive. He tried to make the maneuver too hard, and he lost 2 positions.
Meanwhile, we've got Joe Hollis. This guy, Ken Vilhoen, breathing down his neck. And Vilhoen runs a very odd line, it looks like, coming up through those S's. It's not exactly putting the car on what you would call the normal racing line. Seems to be working for him, though. He's keeping pace with everybody.
Keeping pace, yeah, exactly. Might be to try to make sure that drivers behind have the dirty air and that they will have to back off in those corner sections. So that might also be a reason.
And Baboon J just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Joe Hollis is actually creeping back onto Sean O'Sullivan, trying to get that podium spot back from him. Oh, and he really throws the car into Spoon there through that left-hander and really keeping pace with O'Sullivan as they come down on the backstretch.
Yeah, this might be a good 3-car fight for, for P3 position, and it will allow Harryhausen to keep up with these drivers if they keep fighting with each other. So, hey, I hope this is going to be an interesting fight.
So Joe Hollis not able to make anything happen there, but we've got this 3-car battle that just won't quit for the 3rd spot. Meanwhile, Ryan Hareen is pulled out to a 2.7 second lead over Bjorn Langfeld. Bjorn finding himself in another podium position. Good on him. Ryan Hareen doing exactly what he needs to do in order to take advantage of T. Jonas and try and take the lead of this championship, really. He's only 6 points back in the championship's point standings, and he would definitely take the lead after this race if they finish where they are now.
Yeah, he would have over 19-point lead going towards Brazil, and if he finishes in these situations, I think Kevin Harrison would be mathematically out of the championship fight also.
And now he's extended that lead to 3 seconds, but we continue to watch Joe Hollis trying to close that gap and see if he can find a way around Sean O'Sullivan. But you've pointed it out a couple of times how hard it is to pass here at Suzuka. Only a couple of spots to do it, and because it's such a narrow racing line, I mean, if you're stuck in traffic like T. Jonas or Joe Hollis that we're watching, the dirty air coming off of the car, I mean, aero wash is definitely going to affect these cars coming through some of these, especially the S's.
Yeah, it does affect. There's just nothing you can do. You have to recharge your EOS. You have to drop the non and lean in the corners to make sure the car doesn't slide. And you just have to try to overtake somehow in corners, in straight line. It's not an easy job, but you have to force your overtake. Then you have to have that killer instinct and maybe risk a little bit trying to overtake.
Oh, and Baboon J just put a move on Nelson Santos through the 130R, and Bjorn Langfeld is just pitted from the 2nd spot. So that is going to move Sean O'Sullivan up into the 2nd spot. And we've got a gaggle of cars back here. Looks like Baboon J trying to make a move on Jared Fosbury. It's a 3-wide drag race down to turn 1. What's going to happen here? And look at that. Baboon J comes out on top. 3-car battle. He comes out unscathed and moves himself into the points around Jared Fosbury. And now Fosbury has got Thomas Mumford and Nelson Santos all over the back of him. And Jamie Griffiths is a part of this battle as well. Not racing for points, but racing for pride.
Racing for pride, showing he's a new guy. He's not just here to, do a Sunday drive. He's just here to show, but that he's aggressive, he's fast. That's showing respect, and that's what we're here for.
We're going to give a shout out to Epic the Animal, switching leagues, coming over from Hit the Apex Racing League, quietly running in the 7th spot. Nobody around. He's running all by his lonesome. 4.5 seconds behind Ricardo for 6th, but he's 2.6 seconds ahead of Sam Thompson for the 7th spot. So good on Epic, making his IRL F2 debut today. And Ricardo having a good race as well. It's his 2nd race in IRL, and he's running in the 6th spot. And T. Jonas adds insult to injury. 3-second time penalty for T. Jonas coming out of Spoon, and he is just struggling, and the pressure, I think, has gotten to T. Jonas this race.
Pressure, and like we said before the race, that he's been focusing on way too much on different things. Satisfaction is the biggest curse what human nature has, and he's about to learn it in a hard way, in very, very hard way.
Now Bjorn Langfeld did make a scheduled pit stop. He has dropped all the way back to 16th, and he's on another set of medium tires. Actually, no, I think he was on softs to begin with. So yeah, he's made his switch over, so he should be running those mediums to the end. Is that correct?
Yeah, 15 laps with mediums, easy job. If you can do over 12, 13 laps with softs, easy job, no problems at all. Mediums to the end.
And Paco Suarez continues to be glitched on timing and scoring. As you see, he's sometimes the leader. He's currently running 16th. Pretty inconsequential. Yeah. We pick up this 4-car battle now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-car battle. As it looks like Sean O'Sullivan kind of holding up a train of cars here. Which now this is a good example, as you said, how hard it is to pass here at Suzuka. O'Sullivan is holding up Joe Hollis, Canville Hoon, Kevin Harrison, and it looks like Ricardo is actually going to start to be a part of this battle, as he's been able to close in on them as they head through the 130R.
I was, but Ryan Herring is pitting. I was just about to say if he can extend his first stint even more, let these drivers fight, but he's pitting.
Yeah, it looks like we got a couple other drivers diving into the pits. That's Sean O'Sullivan, Joe Hollis. So Canville Hoon out in front, but he's got Kevin Harrison all over the back of him. Harrison on those hard tires, trying to make that strategy work from the first safety car that came out on lap 2. He's now worked his way back into the second spot. So Harrison might be calling the right strategy here. It's a tough call.
Yeah, it might be my strategy, but there's still 14 laps remaining, and he will be around 3 seconds slower in the last laps of the Grand Prix. But like we've said, that it's hard to overtake in Suzuka. We'll see, is Kevin Harrison able to make this brilliant strategy work to the end? We'll find it out and see. But we'll have drivers with medium set of tires and softs and stuff like that, so it'll be very hard for Kevin though in the end.
But you got to hand it to Ricardo. Ricardo's on 10 laps on those soft tires. He started pretty deep in the field. He's going to be making his scheduled pit stop here shortly, I'm sure.
10 laps with softs, and he's still keeping up with them front runners at the moment. So his pace is tremendous, and if he can keep this pace up, then yeah.
And Ryan Herring has already made a move to get past Jared Fosbury to move himself up into the 8th spot. He's going to have his work cut out for him, because if the drivers on the hard tires are going to run them all the way to the end, he's going to have to find a way to get around Baboon J, Sam Thompson, Epic the Animal, and Kevin Harrison to try and get back to the lead of this race. And we know Epic can be very hard to pass. Baboon J has actually shown some flashes of speed, but a little over-aggressive from a rookie standpoint. So he could have his work cut out for him. Meanwhile, T. Jonas still running in the 12th spot. This race has not gone his way at all.
Yeah, he has to hope for some kind of miracle, because now he needs help from... Oh, and we have retirement.
Oh, Nelson Santos. See if we can pick up where that happened. Well, right along with Harry Cooper. Up there it is. Looks like he's off into the wall. Must have broken the left front suspension. Yellow flag.
No safety cars, apparently. Yeah, green flags and no safety car.
So we've got a 3-car battle for the lead here. We've got Canville Hoon on the medium tires. We've got Kevin Harrison on hards, and Ricardo running on the softs. And really, this is kind of an inconsequential battle, because Canville Hoon and Ricardo still have to pit. So Harrison's looking at the lead of this race after starting on pole position and falling through the field.
Yeah, he's looking, well, of course. Oh, look at him. He's trying to go side by side. And he made it stick.
Harrison says, why wait for the pit stops when I can do it now on my own? Kevin Harrison back to the point.
Yeah, he still has 13 laps to go. I still think it's going to be hard last laps for him. And then in lap 25, lap 26, we're going to see what is the mental head of Kevin Harrison when he has 3 to 4 drivers behind him, persuading him.
And Nelson Santos has officially left this session. So unfortunately, that is the 4th DNF of this race. We started with 20 drivers on the grid. We've lost Nelson Santos, Rowan Lakely, Jack Mia, and Luis Wassman, all 2 crashes. And we've got some battling going on here. This is Ryan Herring trying to work his way around Thomas Mumford for the 8th spot. Actually, this would be the 7th spot, because Paco Suarez's timing and scoring is all jacked up. So this will be Ryan Herring trying to get to the 7th spot. Baboon J, meanwhile, back up into 6th. Oh, and Mumford runs wide coming out of the top of the S's at the top of the hill. Herring is all over the back of him.
We might see a dive bomb in the next corner. We never know. Let's see how close he is in the next corner.
A little conservative through the hairpin. Might be saving it for the Spoon or the 130R if he can get a good run out of Spoon down that back straightaway. Right along with him, see what kind of move he can make, see what he's thinking. Oh, and Mumford again loses the back end just a little bit. Good run coming out of Spoon down the backstretch. Ryan Hureen's got it on fuel rich. Side by side, Mumford's going to try and take that defensive line. He's going to have to tuck back in, and a great move as he heads into 130R. Ryan Hureen up to the 7th spot. Mumford might try and take it back, but I don't think he's got enough speed. And T. Jonas with a 5-second time penalty now, exceeding the track limits. And a virtual safety car for who?
That helps Ricardo. That helps for Ricardo. Ricardo is just fitting. What a timing for him.
And Sean O'Sullivan into the pits, and looks like T. Jonas has gone into the pits. And Kevin Harrison with a drive-through penalty, speeding over the virtual safety car. Oh, no.
He's the host of the lobby. He's the host of the lobby. He tried to, once again, glitch the safety car. He tried to push the pedal when it's minus delta, but he's the host lobby, and now it's paid big price for him.
Drive-through penalty for Kevin Harrison. T. Jonas paid his 5-second time penalty in the pits. He's all the way into 16th spot. The championship is blown wide open at this point for these three drivers.
Christ.
Ryan Hureen running insane. This is unbelievable, the types of mistakes that are made. We're back to green flag racing that quick, but Kevin Harrison with a drive-through. How many laps do you have to serve that drive-through?
3 laps. I think 3 laps your time to run it. So he has to serve it in lap 19.
And Ken Vilhoen is actually still with him in this battle. Vilhoen's got 15 laps on those medium tires. When's he going to be looking to make a pit stop? Oh, and he's making a move. He's trying to make a move on Harrison. Down the front straightaway, they're side by side. It's a drag race down to turn 1. He's got the DRS slot open. He's going to get in front of him just before they get to the braking zone. And Cam Vilhoen is just taking the lead of this race. Unbelievable what is happening here at Suzuka.
Yeah, actually, Cam Vilhoen might be doing his pit stop in the next 5 laps, and that would give the lead to Epic the Animal, because Harrison also has to drive to a penalty. But Harrison, host of the lobby, tried to exploit the VSC glitch, but as we know, host of the lobby can't do that because, you know, Codemasters being Codemasters and paying the big price for it now. And these 3 drivers are just handing with silver plate the championship for each other, but nobody wants to take it, and this is unbelievable.
And, you know, coincidentally enough, okay, we did talk about this a little bit in the beginning of this, but Ken Vilhoen is still mathematically in the championship battle. We thought it would be a long shot. He's got 101 points versus T. Jonas is 147. He's still mathematically in it. And after today's race, if T. Jonas finishes where he's at, which is 16th, Vilhoen wins this race, it is now a 4-car battle heading into Brazil.
Yeah, we have to know where Ryan Hureen is going to finish. How much he's behind of Ryan Hureen. Because Hureen is now in P6.
And Harrison has just made the pass on Vilhoen to retake that top spot, but Kevin Harrison still has that drive-through penalty to serve. And Cam Vilhoen is finally going to be making his pit stop, and he's going to switch over to the soft tires.
Soft tires, definitely. He's going to be very fast in the end. Only soft runner at the moment, and he'll be around 1 second quicker than everybody else. And he's having a 5-second stop and go, so yeah.
Oh, 5-second stop and go for Ken Vilhoen, so he's going to need those soft tires. And in the midst of all of this, Epic the Animal, running in what is the 2nd spot, could be looking at a maiden IRL win, because Kevin Harrison has that drive-through. Now, he's 9.2 seconds back from Kevin Harrison. What is the drive-through delta here? It's a fairly long front straightaway.
15 seconds. 14 seconds, maybe. 15. So he's going to drop. Wait, I'm just. He will drop to P6 now.
And T. Jonas has retired from the session.
Oh my god.
T. Jonas has retired from the session. Yellow flag sector 3. And that's probably where T. Jonas has gone off. Unbelievable. Now we've got yellows in sectors 1 and 3. Unbelievable. T. Jonas. He had so many people tuning in, cheering him on and qualifying. And, oh my goodness, he is buckled. He is buckled like a Nancy Kerrigan knee. Unbelievable.
Jesus Christ, he is really bottling his championship away now, and Kevin Harrison coming to service drive to penalty, so that means Epic the Animal will take the lead of this Grand Prix. It would be the actually first American to ever win in IRL. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I didn't even know he was American.
He has an American flag.
I just assumed that. I don't see many Americans in all the leagues that I commentate for. I just assume we don't do it. So good on Epic. So you'll see the timing and scoring says Paco Suarez is the leader. That is not the case. Suarez's timing and scoring is screwed up. Epic the Animal is the leader of this race, and he's out in front of Baboon J making his IRL F2 debut. So the two debut guys are running first and second in this race. Ryan Hareen, though, is closing in on Jay. He's only back from 1.6 seconds. Harrison's going to come out fifth. And he's not completely out of the fight. He's only 3 seconds back from Sam Thompson. So, unbelievable race. This has just been... The last few rounds that we've been doing this has just been wild. Absolutely wild.
It's been wild. Script after script, drama after drama, like post-race penalties and everything. It's like a very well written action film where the scripts, action, drama. I love it. Like a Hollywood film.
We've got Canville Hoon trying to make a move on Jared Fosbury, and we just picked him up. He was coming through the grass, doing his best lawnmower impression on those soft tires, trying to go around the outside, and it looks like it didn't work. Fosbury able to hold him off, but Fosbury, he's on those older hard tires. Vilhoen on the soft tires, nice and fresh. So Vilhoen should be able to make that move relatively easily, I would think.
Yeah, no point really fighting then. Should be quite easy.
And Vilhoen should be able to get him coming down the straightaway, and he's easily got it. Looks like Fosbury had a moment there on that last little bump as you head down on the front straightaway, so.
Now, Ryan Hareen, 7/10 behind of Baboon J. And then next up is going to be Epic the Animal. We might have a 3-car race for the win.
Well, Thomas Mumford just ran the fastest lap of this race. We don't see that too often. 1:38.28, but Mumford running all the way down to the 13th spot.
Yeah. So
looks like him and Jamie Griffiths are on the soft tires, just trying to make up for some lost time, see if they can maybe work their way into the points. But the real battle is going on up here at the front.
And we have also Sam Thompson catching up to these guys, so we might also have a 4-car race, maybe even 5-car race, and we have Kevin Harrison still after that drop to penalty to the race for the win.
And here comes Ryan Hareen. Looks like he's going to try. Ooh, big moment there by Baboon J. And Hareen had to check up a little bit. We just jumped on board with Hareen as that happened, so. But now Hareen's going to have the DRS advantage as they head down the front straightaway. Baboon J all the way down to the wall. Hareen's going to swing to the outside, easily make that move. Baboon J is going to tuck back, and now Ryan Hareen is finding himself running in the second spot. Again, if you're just joining us, the timing and scoring is broke for Paco Suarez. He is not in the first spot. He's actually running 12th, and it will glitch back here in just a moment, I'm sure, when Suarez comes across the line. So Ryan Hareen finding himself 2.7 seconds back from Epic the Animal, and Epic once again running an epic race.
Yeah, but he has 18 lap-old hearts against Ryan's 8 lap-old mediums, so he will be very slow in the last 6 laps. So if Epic the Animal wants to run this race, he has to find somehow some kind of miracle to keep these guys behind. Dig deep and somehow win this race. It's going to be hard.
Kevin Harrison has just gotten into the DRS zone. He's within that 1 second range, so he can use the DRS on Sam Thompson for the 4th spot. So Harrison trying mightily to keep these championship hopes alive. And with T. Jonas out of the race, your championship points leader out of this race, crashed out a couple of laps ago. He was currently running in 16th. He is done for the day. T. Jonas is going to lose his championship points lead at the end of this race. If Ryan Hareen can keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah. And if Kevin Harrison finishes in P5, he's also out of the championship fight if Ryan Hareen is going to win the Grand Prix.
Harrison to the inside of Sam Thompson. He's going to get him going into turn one. So Kevin Harrison up to fourth.
So
meanwhile, Baboon J is actually... Baboon J's keeping pace with Ryan Hareen.
Yeah.
He's still within that DRS range. If he could just keep with him. It looked like, I think, Ryan Hareen now. Ryan Hareen's really closing in on Epic. 1.3 seconds back, but that Baboon J sticking pace with him. So Ryan Hareen might be focusing on Epic, and Baboon J might be taking advantage of that. I don't think Hareen's looking in his rearview mirror to see where Jay's at. Jay's going to be closer than he thinks.
Yeah, but Jay, he's now in a spectator mode. He has to work together with White to catch up to Epic the Animal, and he has to wait until Ryan and Epic the Animal start to fight with each other and maybe then take advantage of it.
And we've got a couple of guys asking about T. Jonas on the live chat. I don't know how he crashed. Thomas Mumford's retired from the session, yellow flag sector 2. T. Jonas crashed out a few laps ago. It was sector 3. Not 100% sure which corner it was. I think he crashed all by his lonesome. I don't think he was a part of a battle, so it was unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, Ryan Hareen has closed in. He's now within the DRS range of Epic. And I gotta say, Epic's running pretty good under the pressure of Ryan Hareen. But I mean, this is Epic's IRL F2 debut. He's probably not familiar with any of these drivers. He probably doesn't know what to expect. And now Jamie Griffiths has retired from the session. He was currently running in the 14th spot, so that's going to hand over 13th to Sean O'Sullivan, and that's going to be a virtual safety car. And once again, things are getting shaken up here a little bit with 4 laps remaining in what has been a ridiculous Japanese Grand Prix here at IRL F2.
Yeah, exactly. Now these drivers get to save the tires, save the fuel, save the EOS, and we'll have 4 rounds of main event of IRL slobber knocker fighting between 3 drivers of Epic the Animal, Ryan Hareen, and Baboon J.
And we're waiting to go back to green flag racing, the virtual safety car out because of Jamie Griffith's car. And race control DRS is enabled. Green, green, green. And Baboon J going to take advantage of that DRS. Puts the slot open, and now he's going to try and close in on Ryan Hareen. Hareen tried to close in on Epic, and he tries to break up that slipstream a little bit. Looks like Epic is now starting to struggle with those hard tires. And just as you said, 3 laps remaining. He was able to cool him off a little bit on the VSC, but trying to hang tough heading through these very hard S's.
Yeah, it's very hard. He has 21 lap on hearts. Those hearts are probably at 60%, and hearts being also very very bad in this track. He's not helping his case at all. I will have to say he deserves a standing ovation if he's able to keep Ryan Hareen behind with fresh mediums.
Meanwhile, Baboon J has got the same lap-old tires, 21 lap-old hards, and he is... Oh, but he just lost the back end. Commentator's curse. Yellow flag, so sector 2. So that's, and you know what? That's good news for Kevin Harrison, because Harrison is going to be able to catch him and move himself up into the 3rd spot. So Kevin Harrison looking at a podium position to keep his championship hopes alive. He's not done with this championship battle. And Ryan Hareen is all over the back of Epic as they head down the back straightaway and into the 130R. Is he going to make a move heading into the chicane? We ride along with Ryan Hareen. Epic going to try and defend the inside. Oh my goodness, and what a move by Hareen. He almost outbreaks himself heading into the chicane, but he makes it stick. And look at this, Epic is on the outside. It's a drag race down the front stretch. Who's got the DRS advantage?
Neither of them. Neither of them have DRS. But,
side by side into turn 1, it's not going to work for Epic. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3 once again. It looks like that might be Ricardo.
Yeah, it is. And I just checked the standings as Harrison moves himself to P3. Harrison has to finish P2 to keep his championship chances alive because he is 18 points behind of Brian Heroin, 24 points behind of Jonas. So if he finishes in P3, he gets 15 points. Brian Heroin gets 25 points, and then the gap would be 27 points. So then Harrison would be mathematically out of the championship fight.
That is not good news for Harrison. He's trying to do everything he can to stay alive. Unfortunately, Hareen just took the lead of this race. Harrison currently running in third, and he is 5.5 seconds back from Epic the Animal. I don't think he's going to make up that time in the next 2.5 laps, unfortunately. But we're going to monitor that on timing and scoring. We'll see what Harrison can do in the next couple of laps. Ryan Hareen's already gapped Epic by 1.1 seconds. But an amazing drive by Epic the Animal. Baboon J is about to lose another spot to Bjorn Langfell. And a 3-second time penalty for Sam Thompson. And, Sam Thompson looks like he's going around at Spoon, so he's lost the back end. He just lost a couple of spots. That moves Canville Hoon up into the 6th spot. Baboon J just lost 4th heading into the 130R. And Kevin Harrison trying to close that gap down to Epic the Animal. It's now 4.8 seconds with 2 laps to go in this race. The pressure is on.
How can this Thomas keep the tires alive? Is Epic the Animal hitting the cliff, or is he going to be able to keep Harrison behind? That would mean it would be between Ryan Hareen and T. Jonas in the last round of IRL. We would have 2 amazing drivers fighting for the title in Brazil.
And Kevin Harrison's got those 23-lap old tires just like Epic does, but he's still closing the gap. It's now down to 4.6. I don't think he's going to have enough in the car to make it happen, though, unfortunately. We're going to pick up Joe Hollis as he's battling it out with Canville Hoon for the 7th spot. And a time penalty for Baboon J. So Baboon J, ever since he spun the car and lost the end plate on that car coming out of the hairpin, his race has started to fall apart.
Now the gap is 2.6 seconds between Harrison and Epic the Animal. If Animal has one more penalty than Harrison, then Harrison would get P2, but it's a long shot now as they're about to start the last laps.
And I honestly don't think Epic has a time penalty as of today's race, but Harrison's going to be looking back at this and shaking his head. If he didn't have that drive-through penalty, we'd be looking at a very, very different story right now.
Good look at Harrison crossing the line in P1 after this lap. That's Formula 1 for you.
Jimmy Griffiths has officially left the session. So final lap, Ryan Hareen out in front to the tune of 2 seconds over Epic the Animal. And Epic is not losing any more ground to Kevin Harrison. That gap is still 4.6. That is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd right there. Bjorn Langfell finds himself with another great run here towards the end of this season. 4th place finish for him. Got Canville Hoon running in the 6th spot. Joe Hollis is behind him, still within DRS range. He's got his teammate behind him. Baboon J making his IRL F2 debut, so good on him. Sam Thompson running in 9th, and Ricardo is going to round out your top 10 points paying positions. Harry Cooper just ran the fastest lap of this race, but he's currently in 11th, so he's not going to garner any extra bonus points for that. And timing penalties. I know there's a few guys that have got some timing penalties. Ricardo just picked up a 3-second time penalty, so there you go. That's 9th. That would drop him out of 9th position. So we'll see what happens. We'll pick up Ryan Hareen coming down the back straightaway for the final time into the 130R. And Ryan Hareen has done everything that he needed to do to keep his championship hopes alive. Ryan Hareen's going to come across line. We'll see if there's any in-game race penalties. Oh, look at that! Epic the Animal to the top. Ryan Hareen with time penalties. Paco Suarez goes into 3rd. Kevin Harrison drops to 4th. And I'm going to need you to bust out your adding machine real quick and see if Harrison's still got a chance in this championship fight. Canville Hoon is 5th. Bjorn Langfell is 6th. So, Joe Hollis is 7th.
18. It's 18 points. 24 points now gap between Ryan Hareen and Kevin Harrison. The championship is alive, ladies and gentlemen. He's 24 points behind going towards the last race. Unbelievable. But Ryan Hareen takes the championship lead after this Grand Prix. He's leading the
Baboon
title
J
now.
with an 8th place finish. Sam Thompson is 9th. And Jared Fosbury falls out of the 10th spot. Ricardo is going to get 10th. And I knew time penalties were going to be a factor. I didn't know it was going to cost Ryan the win of this race. And Kevin Harrison a podium finish. Unbelievable.
In my screen it says Paco Suarez podium finish. We're going to need to get some clarification in the stream that did Paco really race? Did he actually finish in P3? Because it says now that Paco Suarez is
you know
P3.
what? Paco Suarez would not be P3. That would move Harrison back to 3rd.
Yeah, but we don't know. Did he race with others or did we just have spectator glitch? I think we need to get official top 3 from the owners because, yeah, some reason the game put it into top 3. We'll see now in podium interviews or in the podium. You can see that there's Renault in P3. Kevin Harrison's car is not in 3rd place. So we might have had some kind of glitch.
We both saw him crash at the end of that safety car, and he didn't make up any positions on track unless he was passing another car that had crashed. He was not a part of any battle at any given time. Time penalties or not, he was not a part of any battle at any given time, especially for the front. Paco Suarez is not on the podium. That is huge news for Kevin Harrison. It's unofficial, but I'm telling you, Suarez is not on the podium. So unofficially, and that's very unofficial right now, but Epic the Animal will have the win unofficially. Ryan Hurring is 2nd. Paco Suarez is not 3rd. He's all the way back in like 12th. So it should be Kevin Harrison, Ken Vilhoen, Bjorn Langfeld, Joe Hollis, Baboon J, Sam Thompson, Ricardo, and Jared Fosbury would get the 10th place points paying position. So they try to spit it out. Sean O'Sullivan, unfortunately, would be 11th. Harry Cooper is 12th or 13th, something of that nature. And then you have the DNFs of Jamie Griffiths, Thomas Mumford, T. Jonas, Nelson Santos, Rowan Lakely, Jack Nia, and Luis Wassman. We started with 20 cars on the grid. We finished with 12. But the big news right now is Paco Suarez does not get credit for that 3rd place finish, and I'm sure that will be fixed. But Kevin Harrison and Ryan Hurring 2nd and 3rd. Unbelievable race, and we're going to get Epic maybe in here. We're definitely going to get Kevin Harrison in here for an interview. Ryan Hurring has never done an interview with us, so I'm not even going to bother.
Ever win in IRL, that's just amazing.
So we'll see if we can get Epic in here and Kevin Harrison for a quick interview. As I said, I'm not going to bother with Ryan Hurring. I've invited him multiple times throughout the course of this season. He doesn't seem to do interviews, and that's okay. He's doing all of his talking on track, and he definitely did a lot of talking today on track, walking away with that win, and takes the championship points lead. Well, he didn't get the win. He got 2nd place, but he gets the championship points lead nonetheless. And Kevin Harrison keeping his title fight alive thanks to timing penalties and a hard drive. And then we've got this guy. Epic, make sure your party settings are set to share so that everybody can hear you in the live stream. I don't want to sound like I'm talking to myself.
Pretty positive they are.
And we'll have a quick interview with you. Congratulations on a huge win, making your IRL F2 debut. You came over from Hit the Apex Racing League, and I believe you are the first American to win an F1 race in the International Racing League in any of the tiers. Congratulations. How was your experience today coming over from HTA to IRL, and how was that race?
I mean, the experience with the league's great so far. Everyone got me in super quick. Everyone's super nice. Everyone raced super clean. I mean, thanks to you, man, for getting me in here. I'm glad I could put in a good performance. But yeah, it feels good to get the result on this track because I consider this one of my worst tracks. I definitely messed up my setup. The car felt good on soft tires, but when I pit onto those hard tires lap 1, to say the car felt unstable would be an understatement. The entire race, I wasn't even thinking about what position I was in or if people were going to pass me or not. Like, if they pass me, I'm going to let them go. I was just thinking about not spinning the thing out. But then, weird enough, as the tires got worn, the car felt more stable, and then next thing I know, I'm up towards the front, and everyone had to pit or got penalties, and I knew the leader, or whoever that Williams was, had a penalty, so I just burned all the resources to try to keep with him. And if he would have passed me a lap earlier, my DRS was actually broken. And then right after he passed me, my DRS kicked back on, so that might have been the difference. But yeah, it feels good to get a win in a debut. First American to win, apparently. Love that. And yeah, to get the win on a track like that I usually do terrible at, pretty nice.
Yeah. Lance, I have to interrupt you. Paco Suarez is writing in a live stream why he has not, interview that he said he finished third place, apparently, even though in our screen Kevin Harrison finished third. So,
Well, we've got Kevin with us. Kevin, maybe you can shed some light on it because the timing and scoring was broke for most of the race with Paco Suarez, and he didn't seem to be a part of any battles on track. So we believe you do get third place in today's race. Is that your perspective as well?
Well, in my opinion, I won. The VSC, no, I'm not joking. The VSC, I checked back the footage. I didn't speed under and I got a drive-through.
We did see that you got the drive-through penalty, and obviously stewards will take a look at that after the race, obviously. But in regards to Paco, maybe shed some light on it. Did you see Paco on track at all in any of your battles?
He actually got the podium, yeah.
So Paco did get the podium finish. Wow, talk about a bad timing and scoring glitch.
I'll
I'd
invite
also
him.
say that I got the win, though.
Well, you did everything you could today to try and keep your championship hopes alive. I mean, we'll have to see post-race penalties if you do, in fact, keep it alive. But you came out strong. You took the pole position. Obviously, you had the drive-through penalty, which may or may not be taken away post-race. But, I mean, you did everything you could today. Do you think there was anything else you could have done more to try and save your championship title hopes?
Well, no. I mean, I was leading. I had the gap and would have won if I didn't get a drive-through that I didn't deserve.
Well, we certainly wish you the best, and we'll see how it turns out. And whether you get the win today or not, I don't want to take anything away from Epic, who ran a great race as well. We'll get Paco in here and try and get some clarification on him.
A couple battles with him. For what I could see, like, he wasn't like cutting corners or anything, and at least from my perspective, it looked like the cars behind weren't going through him. They were actually battling with him, but then again, I'm just one guy's perspective. I don't know what everyone else sees or what went on with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very weird. Not sure how it happened or why it happened, but here we got Paco Suarez. So Paco, we just want to give you a heads up, because from a commentator standpoint, we may have had a glitch in the timing and scoring, obviously. At one point, you crashed. Eric couldn't watch you. You were stuck in a wall. On my screen, you had fallen all the way back to like 13th or 14th place. And the timing and scoring kept glitching. It kept putting you in first, and then it would put you last. So if you got the podium unofficially, congratulations. We'll see what the post-race penalties have to say about it. But since we didn't get to really see what your race was like, why don't you tell us a little bit about how your race went for you today, especially coming off of last week's race where unfortunately you threw a podium away at the end of Monza.
Yeah, I mean, last week it was at the time I did the bottle, when I bottled, I didn't give that much importance because I didn't think I would have won. But then with all the penalties and all that, it meant that I could have won if it wasn't for that mistake. So I knew here in Japan, I needed to, to try and win. Because apart from Monaco, I wanted to win another race. And at the start, I saw in the stream that you had issues with my driver. I don't know why, but I was really close to Kevin and to Ryan, and for most part of the race I was up there with them. The problem was that Babu J, he was sending the car all the times, and I was just kept like losing the back end because he was throwing the car in, and I lost perfectly like 7-8 seconds because of that. He did it like 3 or 4 times, and it was annoying because I knew I had more pace than Epic the Animal, that I don't know what his name is, but probably I don't know if I had beaten Ryan, but definitely I think I could have gotten that victory by penalties, and definitely I could have had because I had more pace at least than Epic the Animal. But despite that, I want to congratulate him, you know, because winning on his debut is amazing, and not every driver is able to do that. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations on your podium. I'm sorry, when you go back to watch this live stream, there's not going to be a whole lot of footage of you, and most of the talk is about how your timing and scoring was broke. But congratulations on, we did get an official word from Jared Fosbury, one of the admins, that you did come across the line unofficially as the third place car. Obviously, post-race penalties could be served by a multitude of drivers, and we've seen it the past couple of weeks shake up the finishing order. So, but congratulations today. Congratulations to all 3 drivers. Epic, an amazing drive. I got to hand it to you coming over from HTA. I was always a big fan of yours. I'm even a bigger fan now because you're an American, so I'm not here by myself. Big props to Kevin Harrison. Harrison did everything he needed to do today to keep his championship hopes alive and defend his championship from last year. And Paco, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You're a lot of fun, and it's good to see you back on the podium for the first time since Monaco. So congratulations to all 3 drivers. Guys, what a race. Unbelievable. Eric, you got anything to add to any of this, another hectic IRL race that we've had today?
Yeah, it was a really unbelievable race. Epic the Animal with those 23 lap old tires, just unbelievable. I just want to ask him, how did those 24 lap old hard tires feel in the end?
They felt way better than you would think. Like, I think I mentioned it in my interview, but I had something wrong with I don't know if it's just that I suck at the game on this track or it was my setup, but the car felt so unstable through all of the first 2 sectors. Like, I felt great in Sector 3, but Sector 1 and 2, I knew I was garbage. That's where Paco could have passed me, definitely, if he didn't get held up by other battles. But yeah, actually, as the race went on, the car, I don't know if it was my driving or the tires kind of got, the wear kind of helped, but towards the end of the race, I would say the last 2 laps, the car didn't. It's like that, the issues with the back end coming out and all that just absolutely went away, and I was able to push just enough to keep in the 3 seconds of the penalties that the Williams had.
Alright, and because you're the first American to win a Grand Prix, let's do the honors, because we have an American commentator also here. Let's listen the national anthem of the United States.
USA!
Probably get a copyright on the frickin' stream now.
Nah,
Exactly.
You don't get copyright. I did it in my league. You don't get
It would actually be hilarious.
Bum, 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 bum.
Oh!
Yeah.
Well, congratulations
Italian
to
one.
Epic.
Chugging this
Portoro
coffee
Rosso.
now.
So, real quick, one last question for Kevin, since there's a good chance you're still a part of this championship fight heading into the last race. Brazil, I think you mentioned it last week, not one of your better tracks. How are you going to...
It's actually the opposite. Okay, great. How do you feel going into Brazil then?
Well, I mean, I don't think that they can give me the win back since of how it happened. I mean, I wish that I could get the win back, but I don't think it's possible. But I mean, Brazil, I like it. And looking at the face I had today, I feel like I could go for a win, but yeah.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck heading into the last rounds. It should be a pretty great championship weekend. And I think on that note, we'll wrap this up. I want to congratulate all the drivers once again. Obviously, unofficial results for now. But be sure to tune in next week where we'll be finishing out the season here at IRL, F2, and F1 and F3. They'll all be racing next week. It's championship weekend next time out. So be sure to tune in for that. Like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at F1_IRL. And again, congratulations to all three drivers. We'll see everybody at the next round.